Today's flooding made for an extra long school day for some Knox County kids. Tonight, parents explained how they took matters into their own hands when floodwaters made it all the way to a school building.
And 10 News speaks one-on-one with our state's new First Lady, Chrissy Haslam, talks about the transition from Knoxville to Nashville and how she's planning to make the most of her high-profile position.
You are watching WBIR-TV, Channel 10, Knoxville. The news starts now.
By nightfall, some swollen rivers slipped back below their banks. But inside places like Second Harvest Food Bank, the damage was done.
I think the biggest thing that hurts our hearts most of all is that we can't get this food to the needy tomorrow, and it looks like we won't be able to get that food to the needy until next Monday.
In Newmarket, torrential rains flooded neighborhoods and triggered rescues of both people and their pets.
The cars are loaded right now.
Across Knoxville, our cameras captured car after car stalled in high water. Rain fell in some places at more than an inch an hour, catching driver after driver by surprise.
It's really bad and dangerous out here.
Pictures from 10 News viewers poured into our newsroom, capturing a similar scene, north, south, east, and west of Knoxville.
Free at last!
Teachers celebrate along with students after floodwaters surrounded them inside Holston Middle School, keeping them trapped for more than 2 hours.
But it will take days, if not weeks, to clean up much of the damage from downpours East Tennessee hasn't seen in a decade.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Robin Wilhoit.
And I'm John Becker. Tonight, East Tennessee is trying to dry out. One of the main roads heavily impacted by today's flooding was Broadway in North Knoxville. Today's rain flooded the road in several locations. 10 News reporter Allison Bybee was live waiting in what looked like a river all day long. She's back out tonight. Allison, is the water finally going down where you are?
Oh my goodness, Robin and John, right now all I can say is wow. I mean, are you kidding me? This is all right below me that really remains out here on Broadway. We've just kind of got a muddy mess. So we were out here for hours. Broadway here completely shut down as First Creek overflowed, making this basically a river. And now it kind of seems like nothing even happened.
Broadway looked more like a river.
With so many stranded vehicles, it's really bad and dangerous out here.
In North Knoxville, near Shoney's, cars were stranded left and right as people tried to beat the rising floodwaters. Fountain City saw much of the same. Wilnisha Smith and her mother, they thought they could make it across.
We chanced it. We was trying to go to McDonald's. Not a good idea.
But they soon learned there was no beating this storm.
We're stuck here, but we're just fine.
Car after car was left abandoned on Broadway. Down at the Broadway Shopping Center, the water was so high, the road was shut down.
This is crazy.
Preston Finoglio braved the rain with his truck. First Creek overflowed its banks, spilling out, making the 4-lane road impassable.
This is amazing. I've never seen it like this.
This is the water. This is actually a middle of the road here at the Broadway Shopping Center, and this is what it was like just after 5 o'clock. Take a look. A man trying to kayak.
Some people tried to go up Broadway with a paddle.
That's insane.
He's got the right idea, but the wrong street.
Richard Merritt said he had to take advantage of this makeshift river with his kayak.
They say a foot of water move a car. Well, foot of water moved that kayak.
Finally, the sun came out and the water slowly receded. But this day didn't end without plenty of pictures to document the rare occasion.
Never seen it like this.
And we're back out here live. This is First Creek. It is still raging on as the water's receding from other places. But Broadway here in this section of North Knoxville, it is back open. And again, you know, police just still warn people in the future. Things just to think about is try not to drive through water when it's that high so you can stay safe. Robin and John.
But I never thought I'd see the day I'd see a kayak going down Broadway, but I saw it. All right. Thanks so much, Allison.
Well, that rain finally began moving out of East Tennessee early this evening, but Granger and Hawkins counties are on a 2-hour delay tomorrow.
And Holston Middle and Knox County will be closed because of the flooding. Much more on that coming up. All other Knox County schools will be open tomorrow. And for more on the rain totals, We want to turn now to Chief Meteorologist Todd Howe in the Weather Center. Todd.
All right, Rob and John, thank you so much. Hope you're having a good and safe and dry Monday night, folks. Let's bring you up to date. Live Skywatch 10 radar. Good news. Well, the rain is out of here. Matter of fact, it's drier, but also it's much colder. We'll be talking much more about that coming up. Yeah, rainfall totals. A swath of about 3 to 3.5 inches of rain went across parts of Knox County and Jefferson County. You saw the video from Newmarket? Check. Saw the video from Broadway, Fountain City, and Knoxville? Check. And more heavy rainfall. Matter of fact, another band of quite heavy rain, upwards of 4 inches of rain across portions of Morgan into Scott counties, and a little bit more of a batch down here across parts of the Smokies, up to 2 inches. But you can see some of these bands, including right across the valley in Knoxville. Now, here's a look at some of the latest satellite pictures. We're going to see decreasing clouds overnight. I mentioned it's breezy. It's a whole lot colder. We had a band of light rain showers that was moving through earlier. The most significant weather is well to our south and east in Georgia and the Carolinas. Let's take a look back at some more pictures that we had to us for you coming into us earlier today. Flooding at Paper Mill. That's the Aubrey's restaurant, and you can see some cars almost fully submerged. One car leaning up against the back of a tree there. Flooding at Tyson Park Greenway, sent in by Stephen Taylor. I can't jog or ride a bike or walk on that greenway, but after the storms moved through, we saw some beautiful sunsets. And here's a rainbow sent in by Nicholas Stern, rainbow after the storm. And we do have a flood warning still in effect until 1 a.m. tomorrow. That does include Knox and surrounding areas with still some lingering high water. It's 49 and chilly right now, so bundle up in the morning. Back with your full forecast coming up, guys.
Quite a day, Todd. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Floodwaters had a devastating impact on Second Harvest Food Bank's warehouse. Water seeped into that facility this afternoon.
And a lot of the food that nonprofit agency distributes to the needy will have to be thrown out. 10 News reporter Stoney Sharp got a first-hand look at that damage. He's in our information center. Stoney, what a difficult day for them.
It was, Robin and John. Second Harvest houses $90,000 worth of food each month. They say at least half of this month's inventory was damaged by the flood.
So we all began to panic and moved everything we could.
Pictures shot by a Second Harvest employee show what they saw. Water from a nearby creek was rising quick.
It was a big danger for our staff.
Mud now highlights the end result.
We had 6 employees who were out in our trucks. Their cars were totally underwater. Half of our trucks are underwater.
Also underwater, the main floor of the warehouse. It houses 5 offices, a freezer, and all of the food the nonprofit organization gives away.
So I have a feeling most of this, anything that got close to the contaminated water, is going to have to be tossed.
Electricity has been shut off to the warehouse. Water continues to drain out. Management plans to reevaluate the damage Tuesday.
We know we're going to have to close for the week, and so our agencies won't be able to come here. Maybe some of our trucks will get out in our 18-county service area. But again, we've got a lot of work to do.
Executive Director Elaine Strino says Second Harvest does have insurance. She hopes it pays for much of the cleanup.
We're going to need some monetary help. That's a given to get our trucks back up, all of that.
An emotional day for a group who usually helps others during tough times. You can donate to them online or by mail. We'll have that information on our website. Robin and John.
All right, Stoney, thanks for the update.
Well, some East Tennessee residents haven't just lost food. Their entire homes were flooded in today's rains. At least one neighborhood in Jefferson County was especially hit hard.
It's done it once before, back in 94, I think it was.
But it's not that big.
Not this bad, though.
Now, this is Old Andrew Johnson Highway in Newmarket. Firefighters say 5 to 6 houses flooded here. No reports of serious injuries, but there were rescues, including several people. Rescuers were also able to take a few dogs to safety, scared and shivering, but alive nonetheless. The water even pushed one house off its foundation. The owner, Don Donnan, worked on the house for 5 years, but it took just seconds for the flood to change it all.
Wasn't nothing much I could do. I was trying to save stuff, but I couldn't. It just come up so fast, I couldn't do it.
Donham still hopes he can salvage his belongings from inside. Meanwhile, officials had plans to call in the Red Cross for anyone who needed assistance.
Here in Knox County, the flooding caused some major headaches for schools and buses trying to take students home from classes. At Holston Middle School, students were dismissed until almost 6 o'clock tonight. 10 News reporter Sean Dreyer has more on how some families managed to get their kids home before the buses headed out.
With rushing water blocking Chilhowie Drive, some Holston Middle School parents headed for higher ground. searching for a way to pick their kids up from school. In the woods behind Bridges Funeral Home, some waited for word from below, while others took matters into their own hands. Sierra Brown left school with her parents after they navigated the slick, muddy hillside to pick her up.
Well, the water was coming in underneath the doors, and then on the side door there was like sort of part sewer and then part the rainwater. The gym teacher was trying to sweep it out with the broom.
Brown says the other option was trying to navigate through the water in front of the building.
You couldn't even walk in. It would probably be up to your knees.
The southbound entrance to Holston was open by 5:30.
Free at last!
And buses were rolling home by 5:45.
Our students were safe, students were dry, and were well supervised, as our staff couldn't leave either. So we had plenty of adults in the building.
Kids were great. They did awesome.
But some parents were frustrated with how the situation was handled.
They could have called us or something and told us that they were going to try to bring the buses out.
Whether they waited for the water to recede or climbed to higher ground, today these students won't soon forget.
It started out normal and then ended up crazier than we thought.
Sean Dreyer, 10 News.
And they'll get a day off tomorrow. Once again, Holston Middle will close tomorrow so crews can assess the damage and clean that building. All other Knox County schools will be open and running on a normal schedule.
Crews in Knoxville and Knox County made several rescues from homes surrounded by water today. One of them took place on Pilkay Street near Sutherland Avenue. The house was built on the banks of Third Creek, which this evening looks more like Third River. Rising waters caused the home's heating and air conditioning unit to detach from the residence. Now that caused a gas leak. The KUB was able to shut the line off. The couple who lived there packed up some belongings and rescuers pulled them to safety.
They had two rescue swimmers that went in the water, and they tethered off to a rope. They actually just walked down to the house and put the residents in a life jacket and walked them out.
Now this is what Sutherland at Cox looked like just a few blocks away from that rescue. Third Creek overflowed its banks onto the Greenway. A woman and two children were rescued from a car that was still sitting in the road this evening.
Rescue crews also had to help out a family in East Knox County after the rising water got too close to their house. It happened on Thorn Grove Pike this afternoon. The homeowners say the water rushed across the road and came up to their door. Some of the residents in that home were able to get out, but the water came in so fast, two people left in that home called 911.
You know, I didn't really think about it at first because it was like, you know, this has happened before. Whenever it rains, we see the water start to rise in the creek. But when we started coming across the road, we knew we were in trouble then.
And the water was about 3 feet deep inside that house. You can see from that picture the force of the water even bent the home's garage doors.
Road crews have been very busy across the viewing area, clearing debris that washed or fell onto highways and side streets. Some boulders blocked a section of Highway 25W in Clinton today. Crews were able to clear them, though, before anyone was hurt. Power outages have also been a concern. KUB is only reporting a couple of dozen out right now, but the wet ground could cause more trees and power lines to fall.
So today's flooding, some of the worst we've seen in decades, certainly. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock, we're asking for a little weather history from you. What are some other major weather events from the past? Head to our website or our Facebook page and share your stories. Also at WBIR.com, continuing coverage of today's flooding. We received pictures and videos from many of you, hundreds in fact. You can watch them and post your own at our site. Plus, check out the stories and footage that our crews captured today. And of course, we will continue to bring you updates on the people and places affected by today's weather.
Other headlines from the day coming up next, including sad news for a Jefferson County family who has been searching for a missing relative since July.
And she was Knoxville's first lady for 8 years, but taking on that role statewide is quite a challenge. Hear how Chrissy Haslam is adjusting just ahead.
And Trevor Bain took a break from his racing media blitz to thank hometown fans today in a Knoxville homecoming. He's coming up next. Investigators in Jefferson County now say remains found last week are those of a hunter missing since July. Steve Buchanan's family says he left to go raccoon hunting with some friends and he never returned. The remains were found outside a home near New Market. Today, the Jefferson County Sheriff said investigators were able to identify them through medical records and x-rays. The investigation into how Buchanan died is continuing.
A plan designed to protect Knox County's ridge tops, that is 3 years in the making, will have to wait another 60 days if it ever passes. Commissioners voted 10-1 tonight to delay the plan because they want to learn more about it and get more public input. The proposed rules would limit development on slopes greater than 15% in the county. Developers tend not to like it, while supporters claim it's needed to control erosion and preserve our area's beauty. One commissioner says the extra 2 months could be beneficial now that residents have heard a wake-up call.
Now that we've got everybody awake, maybe they will come to these workshops so they can get these details. That's my point right there, is getting the details out to everybody.
Commissioners hope to have at least one work session with City Council regarding that plan.
It's been nearly 6 weeks since former Knoxville Mayor Bill Haslam was inaugurated as governor of Tennessee.
The last month has been full of transitions for the First Family, including First Lady Chrissy Haslam. 10 News reporter Hillary Lake got a chance to spend a day in Nashville to find out how the First Lady is adjusting to her new role.
Hey, come in. How are you? How are you? Good.
Meeting and greeting people comes second nature to Chrissy Haslam, even in different surroundings.
The job going from campaigning to actually governing is so different, but it feels great to be here.
Here is the Tennessee residence, a 1930s mansion set on 10 guarded acres. She shares it with her husband, Governor Bill Haslam.
The downstairs of the residence is furnished by the state and is for public events. The upstairs of the residence is our private living quarters.
Mrs. Haslam says they spend a lot of time downstairs in the sunroom. The governor also has a study on the ground floor where he works when he's home. But it's this room that symbolizes family and leadership for the First Lady.
We can seat 22 people around that dining room table, and I think that's a great way to entertain and to help build relationships that will help the state of Tennessee.
Mrs. Haslam doesn't spend all of her time here at the residence. She also has an office downtown just across the street from the governor's office.
The First Lady works in the Tennessee Tower, one of the tallest buildings in Nashville. Her office sits high above the city with a view of the Capitol building. It's a space she didn't have as a mayor's wife in Knoxville.
It's different having my own office. I get up every day and go there, and actually I've been surprised at how quickly the day goes by.
These days, Mrs. Haslam also has her own staff and what she says is a new level of political responsibility.
The First Lady of a state has a platform, and I think that if you have that, you ought to use it.
It's a platform that means supporting the governor and developing her own state agenda.
I think part of my time will be entertaining and helping Bill with some of his initiatives and things he wants to do, and working on my own initiatives.
I want this to be kind of a brainstorming session.
She's been meeting with community representatives to narrow down which initiatives she will back.
I want it to be broad enough but measurable, and I want it to be something pertaining to children's issues and educational issues. They obviously go hand in hand.
While the First Lady is settling into life in executive office and living in the executive residence, there's one place that's never far from her mind.
We sure do miss Knoxville, and hope to get back there often, but we are doing well and enjoying our new lives here, and just invite anyone to come and see us.
In Nashville, Hillary Lake, 10 News.
And you can take her up on that offer. You can see the executive residence for yourself. It's open to the public tours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can head to our website, WBIR.com, for reservation information.
Good to get that update on them. And we'll be right back. Stay with us.
And Chief Meteorologist Todd Howell back with us. Robin and I were talking just how quickly that rain came down. And Todd, you were saying the computer models really tell the story.
Yeah, tropical moisture indicating rainfall rates about 4 to 5 inches per hour at one point. Now, it didn't do that for the whole hour, but that was the type of deluge, the downpours that we saw. Here's a look at the regional view. Hope you're having a good, safe night, folks. Good news, we're drying out, number one. High pressure building in. It's going to be a beautiful day coming up for your Tuesday, first day of March, after a significant flooding day. Does it seem like it was 2 days worth of day? It seems like almost 2 separate days. You know, did that really happen earlier today? Yes, significant flooding, anywhere from about 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, centered around 3 inches through Knoxville in a short period of time, really less than 3 hours' time, about 2.5 hours. And it came quick. The ground was saturated from yesterday's rainfall. That was the key. So the ground was mush, very wet. Everything today led to runoff, and that's why we had the flooding. Those storms making a beeline toward the eastern seaboard and the Grand Strand from Myrtle Beach over toward Wilmington, and we're going to clear out. Boy, it's gotten a lot colder. We got to bundle up in the morning with the jackets and coats for your Tuesday. More on that coming up. Flood advisories and warnings still continue for Knox and surrounding counties just for residual high water. Yeah, even after the heavy rains have stopped, it's going to take a while for all the runoff to kind of slowly recede. You've seen the video and the updated pictures from Allison tonight in Broadway. Much better. So the receding is definitely taking place. Officially, this goes until 1 a.m., just so all other areas can see improvements. There will still be some river flood warnings for parts of southeast Kentucky, including up in Knox and Whitley, with the Cumberland River up there. 71 was the high today, 57 was the low. At McGee-Tyson Airport, not as much rain, about 1.25 inches. Still a little bit of a deficit just there. But most other areas from Knoxville and northern section saw a lot of rain. 49 right now. The wind chill 46 as winds are out of the north at 7 miles per hour. So here's a check of those temperatures. That's really the story the rest of tonight. It's drier, but it's turning colder. 38 in London. 39 already in Crossville, 10 degrees cooler than Knoxville. It's 40 in Nashville, 42 in Memphis. Chilly high pressure continues to push this strong cold front off to the east. Good news, we get a break basically for the rest of the week. We'll need it because there's another system that may try to be coming our way for the weekend. Folks, I still see a weather pattern over the next couple weeks that may be conducive to some of these types of storms that come in every 3, 4, 5 days. That's just something we're going to kind of have to keep an eye on as we go in time. But we dry out a little bit cooler day tomorrow, but a beautiful day. Some early morning clouds and sunshine and drier, and then we'll see that warming trend returning as we go the rest of the week. So for tonight, some patchy fog. It will be colder, 38 for the low, and then we're going to see those temperatures in the upper 50s. So a nice day tomorrow. We dry out Wednesday, Thursday, most of Friday, maybe shower late in the 60s. Some scattered showers and storms possible again for the weekend, John and Robin.
All right, Todd, thank you.
Okay. Steve joins us for some hoops. Lots of hoops. Getting close to crunch time in high school basketball. Regional playoffs began this evening in various places, including Fulton. Region 2 AA playing there, and it was Loudon Savannah Berry getting it down low to Jasmine White with a bucket for the Redskins, and they had the early lead. Pigeon Forge answers as Ashlyn Trotter feeds Mindy Brackens in the low post, and she's going to get that to fall. Watch Loudon's Zoe Grimes with a shot thrown up with a hand in her face. She connects. Tigers would get a 3 at the horn, though, to win at 55-52. Earlier, CAK facing Fulton. The Warriors jump out to a 15-point lead in the second with Kayla Cutshaw's bank off the glass. Falcons chipping away at the lead. Morgan Rogers takes it the length of the court, hits the shot, and draws the foul. And a little later, Bree Hall finds Rogers in the corner, fires up a 3, gets the lucky bounce. Fulton rallies to win at 61-56. They play Pigeon Forge for the title. Glory Johnson used to be one of the best prep players in town. Now she's one of the best in the country in college ball. For the 4th time this season, the SEC has recognized the former Web star as the Women's Player of the Week. Glory averaged 14 points and more than 11 rebounds and 3 wins last week for the Lady Vols. Tennessee Vols back at work preparing for South Carolina on Thursday. Coach Bruce Pearl says the recent skid shook his team a bit.
We've got some guys that aren't playing a lot of basketball right now that are better offensively. Perhaps not better defensively. And I felt like this team's best chance to win was to have that identity. So when you go through stretches and you've lost 5 out of 7, your mental toughness definitely gets challenged. And your confidence does as well.
Well, Knoxville's Trevor Bain has no problem with confidence. Finally got to come home 8 days after his stunning win in the Daytona 500. There was a long list of dignitaries on hand to honor Trevor. He got a Bristol skateboard and a street named Trevor Bain Lane. The Wood brothers even turned out with his Daytona 500 trophy. One gift that made Trevor's eyes sparkle was a number 21 Vols jersey given him by Tennessee legend Condridge Holloway.
Trevor?
I don't know, man. That's pretty neat. That's a really special thing to get that jersey. You know, everything that's come with this 500 win is more than I can expect, especially that kind of stuff. You know, just seeing him and getting to meet him is one thing, but to get a jersey from him is another.
Of course, that's his car number. It was also Heath Schuler's jersey. I don't think Heath minds Trevor wearing that.
Not at all. And it's funny to hear him starstruck when you know that's going to happen to him time and again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And his schedule does not calm down at all, does it?
No. He was right back on the track this weekend.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Thanks for watching. Good night.